I've spent 3 decades in the corporate machine. 18 years of those were in exactly the same job. And a few years ago, I realised I was about to make the same massive mistake for a second time in my life. I've always feared about getting older. It's the one thing I can't stop, indeed any of us. And it's the one thing that keeps me up at night. I look back at my 20s and 30s now, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like I missed out. I didn't act on my inner thoughts, the real me, until I was in my mid-40s. I see younger people now living with the freedom that I didn't get to do myself back then. And I'm fine with that, but I do look at the what ifs that lives in the back of my mind. What if I'd acted sooner? And then it hit me. If I stayed in that office for another 15 years until retirement, I'd be 67 years old, asking the same devastating questions all over again. And I refuse to let the corporate machine own the rest of my story. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, but the job is good. The money is certain. Trust me, I know. My role was unique. I had authority. I had the salary. And for a long time, I actually enjoyed going to work. I wasn't the guy complaining at the water cooler, although I often got grumpy about HR. But about 2 years ago, something shifted. The colour started draining out of the room. I found myself switching off. In fact, I probably switched off about 6 months before I walked out the door for the last time. I'd already left mentally. I was tired of delivering deadlines, looking at spreadsheets that really didn't matter. I was tired of living those corporate values that felt like they were written by a committee who'd never actually been in the business at all. The Teams call, the commute, it wasn't just work anymore. It was like a life sentence. When I told my peers that I was leaving, they were stunned. They looked at me as if I'd lost my mind. You've been here for 28 years, they said. You're set for life. You only have 15 years left to go. 15 years! Think about that number for a moment. I'd already spent 18 years doing the same job in that one chair. To stay until the very end, which would have meant 33 years in the same job. When people say you're set for life, that usually means is that you're safely tucked away in a box where you can't fail, you can't also grow. And to me, that didn't feel safe anymore. Quite frankly, it felt depressing. Life is far too short for that kind of nonsense. I realised the risk of what if at the age of 67 was infinitely higher than the risk of starting a new business, say, at the age of 50. So I've traded the golden handcuffs for a new challenge, one where I'm in charge. Is it scary? Absolutely. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have moments where I missed that certainty of a monthly paycheck. But then I remember the trade-off. Instead of a commute, I have time. Instead of a spreadsheet, I have a blank canvas. Instead of delivering someone else's dream, I finally get to build my own. I'm learning again. I'm feeling that spark I thought I'd lost back in my 30s. I didn't leave because I loathed the job. On the contrary, I left because I loved the version of me that was still waiting to be born. I'm not here to tell you to walk into your boss's office tomorrow and hand in your notice. Obviously, if you're not ready, that would be rather reckless. I don't know your balance sheet, but I'm here to ask you to just stop the tape for a second and just pause. When was the last time you sat down, not with a laptop, not with a glass of wine, it's too early for that, but sat down with your spouse or your partner, or just even with a blank piece of paper and your inner thoughts, and asked, is this actually what I want to do with my last 15 years of strength? Maybe there's a business you've whispered about for a decade. Maybe it's a craft, a consultancy, or just a different way of living that doesn't involve a 2-hour commute and a spreadsheet that nobody reads. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't have the courage, or the finances aren't ready, that's okay. That's honest. But if you don't start building that bridge now, when exactly is the right time going to arrive? Does it arrive when you turn 60 or 65? Or when you retire, 67, 70. If you're alone in this, if you haven't even dared to say these thoughts out loud to the person sitting across the dinner table from you, why? Are you protecting them? Or are you just afraid that if you say it out loud, it becomes a reality? As I said, I'm not saying that you have to leave today. I'm saying that you have to stop pretending that staying is free. It's not free. It costs your time, your spirit, and that 67-year-old version of you who is watching you right now, hoping you'll make the right move. I didn't leave because I have all the answers, far from it. I left because I realised that Set for Life, for me, was actually a slow fade. Think about it. Just think about it. I'm the corporate survivor. I'm glad you're here. See you in the next one.